Do not disturb. Trying to tell my computer up to have any notifications. Am I blurry? Am I out of focus? Can you hear me?
I hear you. We're live.
Okay. All right, cool. Think I made that worse. There we go. There's me. All right.
Hi, welcome to Track Girl Summer. I am your co-host, Natasha Hastings. This is my co-host, Kori Carter, and we are bringing the culture to track and field.
Yes, Track Girl Summer. Track Girl Summer.
Something's going on with your feed today. Follow me, Natasha Hastings, Twitter, IG, Facebook, YouTube. Follow the Kori Monster, Twitter, IG, Facebook, YouTube. Most importantly, follow Track Girl Summer. We are on Instagram and Twitter. We are also here on the YouTubes, which is where you should be watching us. Make sure you're subscribed. Go back and watch some of our playbacks, our interviews, drive up some engagement. Share them with some folks that you might feel like might be touched by our content. We had a great session, great combo with Anna Cockrell on Wednesday. Today's Friday. Wednesday. That touched us. And so we think that, we should continue to share the gems with all of the peeps out there. Continue to subscribe, share, and like. We are coming to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Same place, maybe a different time, but we're coming with the shenanigans. We're coming with your favorite athletes. We're coming with the interviews. We're coming with the tea. Lastly, I got to get all the housekeeping out. Kori, you're distracting.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't know why my camera is just refuses to focus in on me.
Lastly, check out trackgirlsummer.com. All the things Track Girl Summer live on trackgirlsummer.com, but most importantly, our merch. We got some trucker hats there, some t-shirts, which if you've placed an order with us, all of the orders are finally out. So thank you for your support, especially if you ordered a hat. We had a bit of a shipping situation trying to figure out the best way to ship the hat. So if you ordered a hat and you receive your hat, please let us know. Hopefully it arrived in one piece, but let us know so that we can do a better job of, serving you all with the content, but the merch as well. So while Kori gets things figured out, there's 27 of you in here. Please share and subscribe to Track Girl Summer. Bring some folks to the party. That's better, Kori. There you go.
I use Kobo for my model.
All right.
Sorry, guys. It's been a morning for me. Just having a day, but we're good.
It's Friday. We're at the end of the week.
Yes. And surprise,
She got a mic.
Just for y'all. We're trying to step up the production value. But are you ready to get into this fit check? Oh my gosh, Ajay knows we're on. I'm just swiping everything on Do Not Disturb. And Ajay knows we're on, so I don't know why she's calling me.
Way to throw Ajay under the bus.
I don't care. Got a little camo pants.
Not the glucose measure making the fit cam.
Look. Kobe came through. He said he was gonna wear a little, bag today. He's giving me a little crossbody bag. So the fashions are there.
Okay. I can't. Still rocking my little twist out. It's a little puff now, but it's still cute. I'm still rocking the natural hair. 400 meter diva collection on the eyes and the lips. Today I am wearing, where did my lipstick go? I believe I have on the finish line. Yes, the finish line available at 400meterdiva.com. I'm wearing a Team USA sweatshirt. Um, some mom Levi's for Target shorts, and actually today I actually have shoes close by. They ain't on my feet, but these are what I've been wearing today. These are Under Armour Hover Apex. Surprisingly, I know the name of the shoes too. I don't be knowing what shoes I'm wearing. I just like them and I wear them. So here we are. So that's Fit Check. 32 people in the room. Keep sharing, keep liking, keep subscribing. Bring some folks to the party. So we gonna get into the shenanigans, Kori?
Yeah, so let's talk about this Diamond League final. First of all, Natasha, want to break down how you get to the final?
Yeah. So if you joined us on My Pro yesterday, Instagram Live, we did an Instagram takeover. We did a live reaction to some of the events, not the entire meet, because as you all should know, it was a 2-day final for every event in track and field. So we were on live for an hour, but we were discussing how it is that you make it to the finals and what winning the final actually means. So there are a series of 13 Diamond League meets every season. Although Rabat wasn't contested this year, but Rabat is one of those Diamond League meets. But anyway, at those meets, you score points. At the end of the season, the athletes with the highest number of points in your events qualify for the final. Now, sometimes, someone may decide they're not going to go to the finals, i.e. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. And so someone who doesn't have any points or lesser points, at that point, you get bumped up and you can go to the final. So now what then happens is once you're in the final, everyone starts at 0. So kind of think of like the trials or in other sports, the playoffs. If you win that event on that day, you win what they call a wild card into the next World Championships. Now, there is a little caveat because a few people won this wild card, and I misquoted a rule, but count on Miss Aisha to get me together and go find the correct rule. So let me tell you what the rule was, because there are a couple of people that won the wild card, but the reigning world champion also has a wild card buy into the world championships. However, each country is only allowed to select 4 athletes to go into the world championships.
Or if you have a wild card. So
if you have a wild card, the maximum is 4. So
the world championship states
the World Athletics states if 2 athletes from the same country would qualify for a wild card, only one of the 2 can be entered with this wild card. If a member federation had 4 athletes in one event, as a result of this regulation, all 4 will be permitted to compete. Now, I was under the assumption that the world champion trumps the Diamond League champion. That is not correct. It is that no country can send more than 4 athletes into the world championships. So that meaning, we'll use the U.S. as an example. The U.S. will then decide which of the 2 would get the bye, or if both of them get the bye and then they take 2 from the trials. But what we have seen to be the standard for Team USA is that the world champion would trump the Diamond League champion, and then the other 3 athletes would come from the final top 3 finishers at the trial. So hopefully that clarified my misspeak in the rules. But that is the rules for the Diamond League finals and the wild card entries into the World Championship.
And, well, it's not all the rules. The other rule that happened in the Diamond League final that's different from the other Diamond Leagues is that the stupid sudden death round in the events doesn't exist, because even the Diamond League is a stupid rule. And when things actually matter, they threw it out the window, because why? It's a stupid rule. So
Kori thinks it's a
But
stupid rule. I don't think it's a stupid rule, but
Diamond League didn't even use it in the Diamond League final.
that's fine.
If it's such a great rule, why aren't you using it for the Diamond League final? Diamond League. The other thing is that
Pam, you have Aisha to thank. Aisha is our fact checker, our time stamper. The link doesn't work. I don't know what I would do without Aisha. Go ahead.
And currently, there are 15 U.S. athletes who have qualified for 2020 Worlds already, have their tickets already booked, due to have them by. I don't know if you guys want me to read out the names, but I have them if you want them. But we got a lot of things to get through. So a lot of Diamond League champions, a lot of world champions coming from the U.S. But let's get into Zurich. Day one, all the events were outside the stadium. Ryan was doing what Ryan does, which is winning the shot put. He won in 22:67. Joe Kovacs got second, 22:29, and Amron Chavik went 21:86. So that was pretty cool. And we also had a U.S. winner in the women's shot put.
Wait. Don't forget to mention that Ryan set the meet record.
He set the meet record. I thought that was we just assumed
that that's what Ryan does, right? Yeah, but he set the meet record.
Yeah, Maggie Moon from the U.S., she won the women's shot put. She had a season best throw of 19:41. She comes from ASU, and I feel like they do a really good job of developing throwers. And both of her opening and closing throws were over 19 meters, which is I think a really great performance after, she didn't make the Olympic team. Aurel Domingo got second with 18:86. Fanny Roos from Sweden got third with 18:74. And Chase Ely from the U.S. Got 18:49. So the U.S. is showing in the throws. It was really cute seeing Ryan and Maggie giving each other little high fives after they won. So that was cute for me. On the track, I'm doing quotes because they had that weird track outside the stadium, which was they did the 5K out there, and it was I thought it was weird because I've never seen an outdoor track banked. It wasn't even an oval. They had some really tight turns. It was 500.
I've never seen that either.
It was 560 meters, which I think is so odd because, especially as a distance runner, you have to worry about pace and figuring out where you are in the race. I don't even know how they would start to figure out where they were, when it's time to kick, managing your energy, especially in a race like the 5K. And they had set up this structure, those structures that they have at finish lines, at a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
They had that, but it was 30 meters from the actual finish line. So the athletes were running to that structure. So they're running past the finish line to that structure, thinking that was the finish line. Which, if I'm running 5K, 5,000 meters, I'm not doing? Running an extra 25, 30 meters. Y'all need to let me know the finish line. And I was if y'all going to have that structure, which is confusing, I felt like they should have put out a tape. Because we saw that happen in the men's and the women's race. And I just was what is actually going on? And especially if you are gauging your kick and you think you have 30 more meters to catch somebody, that can really throw things off.
No shade, but I feel like those distance runners, that 30 meters is negligible because they finish their races and then I'm looking at them I'm ready to die after my races and y'all look like y'all can continue to run some laps. So,
but if you think you have 30 more meters to catch somebody and you really don't,
well,
it should be very clear where the finish line is. Especially when you're like on top of that, you're dealing with having to figure out where you are 560 meters around the track. But let me tell you something. Francine Ninasaba, she ran a great race. She ran it from the front. Obiri tried to work. She tried to work to on the outside at the end to catch her, but Francine would not be denied. And she, after her race, she laid down face on the ground. And I don't think it was I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I gave everything. I think it was just I had been through a lot, and I finally got to accomplish this big thing. And I felt like she just was in that moment, because her IG post after winning the Diamond League final, she said, they try to stop me, try to end my dreams, but how could I allow them to snatch my dreams away? So I worked hard, resisted those forces who tried to stop me, and here I am. She had to go all the way up from the 800 meters to the 5K. And I'm just very happy for her. It was a great race.
For those 46 in the room, continue to like and share. Welcome to the lunch break party. Hopefully you're enjoying during your lunch break at work or something. I don't know. But do we want to get into Francine's story at all? Or because you made mention to her having to move up, but everybody here may or may not be familiar with her story. So give a 30-second synopsis.
I feel like we've talked about this. Basically, she got kicked out of the 800 due to her testosterone levels. And I reached out to her to see if we can get her on this show, just because I realized today, or maybe it was last night, I was like, we have talked about her story and other women who have been kicked out of their event, and we have speculated how they feel and how they're handling the situation. But I realized we're never really asking them, and I feel my opinion really doesn't matter on this subject because it's not really affecting me. I really want her to come on the show so she can really break things down for us, because I think that would be way more powerful. So I'm working on it, guys. Give me a second. But yeah, to go from the 800 to 5K, crazy. They had the women's high jump as well outside on day one. Maria jumped a world lead at 205 on her second attempt at that height. So she jumped a little higher than she jumped in Tokyo. She jumped 204 to win gold there. Yaroslava Mahuchik. I'm learning how to say these names, guys. She jumped a season best of 203. So she won bronze in Tokyo, got second in the Diamond League, and then the silver medalist got bronze in Tokyo, got third here. Nicola McDermott from Australia. And she was one of my favorite people. She's been one of my favorite people to watch because she's the one that has the notebook and she writes how she felt, and she rates all her jumps after every single one of her jumps. So I think it's really cool to see her how introspective she is in competition, but then turn around right before she jumps, she yells at herself and she's like, "Come on!" And I'm she goes from let me sit down and write my notes to be let me pump myself up. So I really like watching her jump. It was a really good high jump competition. The top 5 in Tokyo was there. So in the top 3, I feel have been killing the Diamond League all summer. So
there's a lot of questions popping up in the chat. Let's slow down. And did something happen to Atto? Haven't seen him in the recent Diamond Leagues. That's a good question. I don't know. I noticed that he traveled. So I don't know if maybe he's taking a break from the Diamond League to coach. But he did announce for the Olympics. So there's that. There were a couple of comments above about a lot of people not showing up to the final or ending their season after the Olympics. And that is pretty common. There was a question about the 30K win. To some people, they need that 30K. To others, they've hit enough bonuses or, enough wins throughout the season that they're physically tired and they have that option to say, I'm done. I'm going to end my season here. You can kind of see
Yeah,
it
and some people are
go both
mentally drained.
ways. Yeah. Yeah. Um,
And it's a short, we have a short off season because Worlds is like so early. So the turnaround's going to be really quick. So some people are like, let me rest and get my mind
this
ready. And I think also coming off the high of the Olympics, because sometimes it's just like, I can't get myself back into like that grind because you have this like singular goal and then you get it and you're like, I have to go back and like do the Diamond League, which is like a secondary goal. I even heard like Warholm was talking about he just feels a little unmotivated after he like, he accomplished all his goals.
there's a question here about him too, but also too, I want to acknowledge that it's a short off season, but it's also like a tough cycle now because
There's no
2020 was off. Now you have 2021, 2022, 2023, and then 2024. Like it is. So I think a lot of athletes and more so coaches probably are probably also looking a little further down the line of like, where do we get this break? So we'll answer this question and then go back to our schedule, only because you brought up Karsten. I was going to ignore it, but like,
I don't know when we didn't say he was great. I don't know when we didn't say that world record wasn't amazing. I don't know when we didn't give him all of his respects. And we can ride for ride and still recognize greatness. Just because I want to ride a win doesn't take away from the fact that I think Carson is an amazing athlete. But we're Team USA here, so we're gonna ride for ride.
So I don't know where this. Are you all still upset? Like, what were we upset about? We were excited to see a great race and see great competition, great rivalries, all the above, but real recognize real. Nobody's upset, but like you said, Kori, we gonna ride for who we ride for. Period. And y'all not gonna tell us who we can and can't ride for. Period. All right, back to the show, Kori.
Men's long jump, that was pretty cool. Tobias Montvier from Sweden won with 8:17. He did that on his last jump, and it's one of the things I do like seeing about the Diamond League finals is like we're talking about. Some people like they win the Olympics, they get the medal, and then like I'm over. And some people are like, I did not do well in the Olympics. I'm coming back with a vengeance. And
this is my redemption.
He got 7th in Tokyo and then came and got the Diamond League win. But I was kind of bummed for my boy Stefan. McCarter, he jumped 8:14. He had to lead basically until the last jump. So there's your sudden death rule, Natasha, that you love so much. So he didn't even make the Tokyo final, and now he's getting second at the Diamond League final. And
it took him 6 jumps to get it though. All right, go ahead.
What do you say?
It took him 6 jumps to get it. I gotta hit it in the final. The win.
I'm talking about Stefan. He didn't get the win.
Oh, okay.
He had the lead until jump 6.
So it took Tobias 6 jumps to get it. And he had the lead, Sometimes I have the lead until 390 and then someone dips me at the line and I don't get a chance to run it over and run faster, It happens.
Not everything has to be exactly the same. Do you want pole vaulters and high jumpers to only have one attempt at each height?
If they decide to change the rules for everyone, maybe.
Anyways, I'm really excited for Stefan because I talked about him earlier.
Sometimes I feel like you don't want to be my friend anymore when we have this debate.
All I'm saying is even the Diamond League recognized it's too strict of a rule to include it in the final. If it was so great of a rule, they would have had it when it mattered. But
Maybe. I don't know that they think it's stupid though, but maybe they just chose
I'm
to go a different route. I like getting you riled up.
Stefan, I feel like he's been through a lot. I talked about it in our last, I think it was our last Diamond League review. He's been through a lot, one of Coach Flo's athletes, and I'm really excited. I think this is a start to a really amazing career for him. I can't wait to see what more he has to offer. And Spy from South Africa. He jumped 799, and when I tell you, this guy got every single millimeter of that board to get this jump. It was perfection. Like, it was right there. So yeah, good long jump competition. Kind of seeing some guys that didn't really I don't want to say do a lot, but like, I don't think they lived up to their expectations in the Olympics. So to come back and like have the redemption in the Diamond League final, pretty cool. Same thing happened in the women's long jump. Ivana Spotnovic, she jumped 698 on our final jump, and she got fourth in Tokyo. So just right off of the podium, come back, win the Diamond League final. Katia Sagna, she got second with 683. She jumped out on her first jump. She's from Sweden. And if you don't follow her on IG, I implore you to. She has a really great IG content. She is always showing you inside her training, and she does like great little reels, and like, it's very creative. I enjoy following her. And Marina Beck-Romachuk, she jumped 675 in her final jump. She's from the Ukraine to get third. So yeah. Men's 5K happened also on day one. To close off things, Berhu Gawi from Ethiopia got first. He was fourth in Tokyo in the 10K. He's only 20 years old, and he just like a lap and a half to go, which I didn't do the math on that. So like, I guess around 800 meters to go, he made a really good big move, and he just kind of hammered away. And yeah, he kind of just pushed the pace until no one was left, and he was there at the finish line by himself. So Berhanu Balu got second, and Jacob Corrupt. I don't know why if I don't move, it like turns off. Corrupt of Kenya got third. So yeah, that was the first day.
I believe all in the game. I believe this was the rule before they changed it to the sudden death rule. They've been playing around with the field events attempts for some time now, where top three, or not top three, but the top six, I think it is, that gets the final 3 attempts. But yeah, you get 3 attempts to make it into the final, and then those finalists would only get 3, and it would be the best out of those 3 final attempts that would so
yeah. Someone said, why do runners want to change the rule for field? And I'm like, exactly, stay in your lane. I feel that.
I'm in my lane, and I know that I only get 1 attempt. So why do you get 6?
Because things are different. Like, things are different for different things.
Okay. So, day 2. Let's talk about Valerie in this women's discus.
Yeah, the Olympic champ is now the Diamond League champ. I'm so happy for my baby girl. She threw 69.20 on 5th throw. She led the comp from the first throw. She threw 66.48. Sandra Perikovic from Croatia threw 67.22 on her last row, and Perez of Cuba threw 64.83. I feel like these three ladies have been really doing things all down the league. I feel like they've been the usual culprits.
It's been the top three, yeah. Kind of going back and forth between them.
Yeah. The women's pole vault was interesting, mainly because the reigning Olympic champs, Katie from the US, she no marked. She had no height. So I didn't get it. Like, I watched the BBC coverage because they do a better job of covering the pole vault, but I didn't catch her vaults. So I don't know what was going on with her, but that was interesting to see. Sedora, she jumped a world lead, a Diamond League record, and a PB of 5:01. So she was really getting up there. Anytime you're over 5 meters as a woman, quite amazing. And then Katerina Stefanidi from Greece, she got second with 4:77. She's the Rio Olympic champion, and I feel like she has been off a little bit this season. So I was really happy to see her like back in form because, you know, I have the Greek goddess in my heart because she was my captain in college. And then Tina Sutej jumped 4:67. Holly Bradshaw had the same mark as her, but Tina won on misses. So why does the U.S. struggle to prove depth in both the men and women's javelin and the hammer? I'm not quite sure. Like, let me tell you something. Germany has the javelin on lock. I'll just like skip ahead because Germany got first and second in the javelin on the men's side, and then first on the women's side. I don't know. Part of it is like you can't really throw the javelin in high school. So that might be part of it. I also think maybe when it comes to the javelin, if you can throw a javelin, I feel like you can probably throw a baseball really well. So if you have an arm like that, you might be going to the major leagues, which you will most likely make a lot more money than throwing the javelin. But those are just like why I think. What do you think?
I think Aisha said it perfectly. The U.S. doesn't invest in it. And they're, I mean...
in high school either.
You can't throw what?
They don't do hammer in high school as well, right?
I think you're right about that. But I think also it's very niche and very few. I think there are a lot more coaching opportunities or situations that you can find in like the sprints and the distances, but the throws, not so much. So the opportunities are definitely limited. And I think you're right in that other countries make the investment more as far as like actually having training facilities and such. Like, I think most of the field eventers, throwers particularly, train at like the training centers. And that's usually, they don't usually have sponsorship, and we can all talk about how much it costs to train and not having sponsorship to cover those training expenses. So a number of things could go into why.
I also feel like it's a grassroots problem because, like I said, like you don't do javelin and hammer in high school, so it's hard to get recruited in college. And I also feel like a lot of discus throwers also throw the shot, but I feel like hammer sometimes they also throw the discus sometimes, I feel like. But I feel like the javelin is very niche. And if I have a scholarship, am I going to give it to a javelin thrower or am I going to give it to someone who can do multiple events? You know what I'm saying? Because points wise, someone who can do, you know, the 1 and the 2 might be more valuable to call collegiate.
Well, also, how many throwers are actually getting full scholarships?
Well, I'll tell you who did was Ryan Croucher.
Yeah, there's probably one or two throwers on track teams that have full scholarships. They may have partial scholarships, and a lot of times it's partially academic and athletic. So there are a number of things. We could go down the rabbit hole of why javelin and throws are not developed in the U.S., but
it's also the reason why we don't have a lot of race walkers, because race walk is contested in college. So I was on like a youth team with a race walker, and he was like, I'm like the best race walker the U.S. has ever like seen in like X amount of years, but I can't get a scholarship to go to school because, you know, it's not contested. But
yeah. So back to the run of show, because now we're on day 2 where I guess pretty much all of it you could see where it was like the schedule was run like a high school meet. Where I pointed this out yesterday, where it was like men's 400, women's 400, men's 200, women's 200, or was it the other way around? But the men and women were running right after the other for the events and so on and so forth. So we started out on the track with the women's 400, and Team USA came home with the win, and securing herself with a bye into the Eugene World Championships next summer was Quinera Hayes in 49.88. Another moment of redemption. We saw a lot of that for this meet, like moments of redemption for athletes who did not necessarily perform the way they would have liked to at the games, but I was getting ready to say today. Zurich was another opportunity to show up when it counted, and Quinera did just that with a win in 49.88. She held off Paulino, who's won the last 2 Diamond League events, and she was also the champ at Tokyo, 49.96. Sada Williams was 3rd in 50.24, and honorable mention, Kaylin Whitney of Team USA also ran 51.19.
Yeah, I'm really happy that Quinera got this win, because it broke my heart, because she was the only 400 girl who did not get a medal, because every other, because we brought over 3 girls to compete in the individual 400, but then we brought over a pool of 6, right? It was 6, right? Am I correct? Well, 6 girls from the 400 to run on the mixed 4x4, to run the 4x4 rounds, and because of the scheduling, Quinera wasn't put on any of the rounds or the mixed 4x4, and then by the time we got to the 4x4 final, they went to the 800 and the 400 hurdles to put together the dream team. So I'm just really happy for her. She didn't get a medal, but she got a diamond. And she just looks so pretty. And
it was also a big one for her, because she's been competing in the Diamond League since the Olympics, and this was the sharpest that she's looked after the games. She didn't really look too spectacular going into this finals, but way to go to gut it out and get back under 50 point for this win.
She looks so strong coming home. Like, it was like her form is not breaking, and she got out really well. She came off the turn and was gone.
Yeah.
Differently was in the men's 400 race. I felt like Karani got out the best, but it looked like Mike Cherry was running a 200 the way he did the whole slingshot off the turn. It was like he came off that final turn and was like, I'm out. And Karani showed a lot of heart, because he tried to reel Cherry back in, and they both ended up diving across the finish line. And I don't think it was like, to me, it didn't seem like they were diving like on purpose. It just seemed like they were like going after it, had everything.
I think that's so silly that people think that like people are actually like diving across the line. Like, if you know what it takes to run a 400 and to run it all out. Like the 400 is literally that race that like you literally, and let me not even say that because I don't want to minimize any other race, but like you literally run till your legs fall off. And I feel like we saw these two do that yesterday where they gutted it out.
I think it's not that the 400 is much harder than any other races. I think it's the systems that you're
The two
using
systems
because
that you have to, yeah.
Because you're sprinting, but you're really you're starting to tap into
aerobic.
And that is why the booty lock is so hard. Also, there was a comment earlier. Pole vault's definitely contested in high school. Someone said that pole vault isn't. It definitely is. But I'm happy for Cherry. I feel like we have been seeing that something special was going to happen for him. I still think we have a 43 in him that's coming soon. But I feel like he's just been putting together races all year, been super consistent, and he came out with the win. And I think it is well deserved.
Well, if he can time out another great season next year, hopefully we see 43 in Eugene next summer for the World Championships, because now he's just got to show fitness and he's on the team with that bye. So congrats to Cherry.
Let's see. The women's 3K, Nora Druto won. Her and I think it was Hyven King, who got second. They were really neck and neck up until the final barrier, and Druto was just able to navigate it a lot more efficiently. I feel like that's what it really comes down to in these. I don't think I consider it a hurdle race. In the hurdle races is like getting over hurdles efficiently and being able to keep momentum. And I'm sorry, it wasn't the last barrier, it was the last water jump. Is crucial. And then Courtney Ferricks was able to, she was in the back of the lead pack and she was able to just work her way up into the front and snap third. So these distance races have been really, really good and entertaining to watch. You want to talk about the women's 100 hurdles?
Sure. Got a little bit dramatic. We saw a false start, and I'm putting it in quotes because it was not her fault. The crowd was getting excited, and I don't know if the crowd didn't know track etiquette. Quiet for the start. But the starter was forgiving and let all 9 ladies start the race. And so we saw Tapper get out really, really well. Kind of similar to Brussels, where she got out really well, but then kind of, I don't want to say faded, but faded at the end. Amusan of Nigeria had a great finish. She was in lane 3, and another redemption. She was 4th in Tokyo. But on this day came through with a personal best area record, 12:42. Visser also had a great race, national record, 12:51. And then Tapper was 3rd in 12:55. We'll mention our Team USA, Peyton Chadwick was 4th in another PB, 12:62. Gabby Cunningham, 12:79, and Terica Robinson, 13:70.
Yeah. Yes, there was baby Kambunji out there. Kambunji. I always say that.
Kambunji.
Kambunji. Yeah, she was out there. She was in lane 9. And then the men's 110 hurdles. Yeah, they also had to recall the race, but Jason Joseph was DQ'd, but that was a blatant false start.
Yeah, his was nah, bruh.
Out of there. Yeah. But Devon Allen with a season
not Devon. I hate it here.
Look, let me tell you something. Devon was out. Yeah, it was a
And
really
you
great.
got
I feel
people
like
in the chat saying this Devon too.
like
And every time I watch him, I can't unsee it. I'm like, he's black. Devon. Anyway, go ahead.
yes. Devon Jamal Allen went 13:06 for. That is
Wait,
not
is
his name.
Jamal really? You have got to be stopped. You've got to be stopped.
Yeah, like someone's gonna arrest me. But I feel like he had a step on Parchi to get out, and then he just maintained form. D-Rob and Levy were right there with him, but Devin, I feel like, had the best form at the end of the race, and that's what matters in the hurdles. Mm-hmm. Like, you're only as good as your technique will allow you. Yeah. And it was, I feel like Parchi was right there with Devin.
He was.
He worked his way, because he was a little behind at the start. I don't know why the announcer said he had a great start, because he didn't. And he was able to work his way back into the race. But it was just like, Devin just was like, nah, bruh.
Hey, yeah. And I was watching the replay, and it wasn't like Parchment he had a clean race. It's just some days.
And then I just felt like he didn't run through the line as well as he should have, because that's how Robert Levy was able to like sneak. Well, maybe not.
Levy.
Maybe it was just like Levy. Sorry. You know what? No, that's not true. I think it was a camera angle, because it looked like Parchi was like somehow, I don't know. Never mind. And D-Rob, he ran 13:31 to get fourth, and I just felt like his technique at the end didn't hold. And I think it did hit the hurdle. Yeah. And yes, Devon does not have the bye because Grant Holloway has the world championship.
Yeah, Grant Holloway is the reigning world champion at the 110 hurdles. So, like the women's 100 hurdles champ, Devin also placed fourth at the Olympic Games, but came through with this win. But unfortunately, per Team USA standards, per how Team USA has previously done things, unless something, and we're not going to wish this on Grant, but unless something were to happen to Grant and he didn't, then possibly Devin could be named that fourth name. But
I'm pretty sure Devin knows how to make team. Like, I'm not worried about him.
Yeah.
Team. It just kind of, I feel like whether you have the bye or not, if there's someone in your event from your country that has a bye, I feel like that helps everyone out, because now there's 4 spots instead of 3. One's already taken, but that person was probably going to get the top, had a very good chance of, in that spot anyway. So I feel like just opportunities to more athletes, especially when you're in an event that's really deep for your country, like the hurdles.
Like the hurdles, yep. Yeah.
Because baby, they need to give us like in the foreign hurdles. Like, I feel like the women's foreign hurdles. Like, I feel like we need like 2 or 3 more buys. Like, it's deep out here.
All right, we're behind. Women's 15. Yeah, this was an exciting one. I was a little bit confused because I'm looking at the pacer, which was Chanel Price. Shout out to Chanel, always out there doing a great job. I'm looking at the lights, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why is Chanel way ahead of the pack? But she looks to be like on pace with the lights. Even she was looking back like, where y'all at? Y'all coming?
They only asked her to run 2:06, like, which is not super fast. It's pretty average. And I feel like that's what kind of screwed Hassan, because so Faith got first, then it was Hassan. But it really came down to like
the last 100.
And it was a foot race. And Faith has an 800-meter speed in her. And Hassan said that she felt tired after Tokyo, but like for
I
this
was
race, she felt good. She felt like she was gonna like do her best, and I feel like even if you said that, I'm like I still feel like you got them like 4,000 something laps in your legs.
Yeah, I
But
mean, I could tell you could tell that it was not Stefan's race in that the tired was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that they weren't keeping up with Chanel, especially if like seeing the lights, I was like, well, that's the pace that they asked for, you know? But it is expected for the athletes to be kind of tired this late into the season. But to see Hassan sit that long when she knows, like these ladies know, you know, they've been competing against each other all season. Stefan knows that she doesn't have the foot speed to match Kipyegon. So I thought it was odd that she even sat as long as she did. But I mean, she tried it. I don't know if her family. I'm looking at the chat. If her coach maybe told her to run her race that way this time. But yeah, I didn't see her having that. I was concerned about her sitting there for as long as she did.
And someone said Faith was going to beat Stefan anyways. The 1500 is hers. Unfortunately, no event belongs to anyone. That's why we race to see who's going to win on that day. And that might sound shady, but I'm just saying, like, anything can happen. And I feel like, especially Stefan, like Hassan words right now. Especially Stefan, like, you can't count her out ever. So I just feel like, yes, Faith was the favorite, but you still got to race that race. You still got to see what happens. And yes,
let's also give
her race. It definitely is more of her race, but I feel like that's why Stefan, I feel like she should have took it out on her. Like she should have pushed it from the start because you have to just break her because you're not gonna out sprint her.
Well, let's also give honorable mention to Josette Norris of Team USA, who ran 4 minutes 41, 4 minutes flat 41, and she placed third. So moving on to the men's 1500, where we continue to see this bromance between Timothy and Jakob. Kind of what I mean, to me, it was kind of expected.
It was the last 100, and it was a really good race. These distances, I swear, want to be starters because they be those last hundreds nail biters. But Timothy ran 3:31.37. Jakob ran 3:31.45. Stuart Missing from Australia ran 3:32.14. So really close over 1,500 meters. We talked about the men's javelin already. The men's triple jump.
Duplantis, yet again.
Yeah, that's an event where the pole vault is his. But although we saw him lose earlier this season, so that's why I'm saying you have to actually do the competition to see who's going to win.
Yeah.
But 6:06 for a meet record. He tried to get that world record attempt at 6:19, but I really feel like it's going to come. Like, he is still super, super young. And, I'm excited to see him break the world record eventually. But I feel like we knew that he was better win this Diamond League. Sam, back in form. He jumped a season best at 5:93. Really excited for him because, I feel like he had a hard year. You train the whole 2 years, make the Olympic team, and then you get there and you get COVID and you can't compete and you're stuck in a hotel, which sucked. But to see him, rally, make the best of the season and do well on the Diamond League circuit was fun to see.
I also believe Sam is the reigning world champ. Aisha, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he is the reigning world, or is he the 7th?
He is. He's the reigning.
So he does have the buy-in to the World Championships next year. So although things didn't end or play out as he would have liked to in Tokyo, Sam is still jumping well and will be at the World Championships next summer. Men's triple jump. Pichardo, 1770 on his final jump.
And when he put it out there on his first jump, because he jumped 1726. And he passed jump 3 and 4, I want to say. Zango 1720 to get second, and Artiki got 1703 for third. Honestly, though,
the women's triple jump.
Because let me tell you something about Ulamar. Like, she either was jumping 15 or she was fouling. Like, she was going for it because, she didn't have to worry about the sudden death rule, so she could just live her best life, work on, what she needed to work for. But she was jumping big. She jumped 15:48 for the meet record on the last jump. And Shanika Ricketts of Jamaica jumped 14:64 on her last jump to overtake her fellow Jamaican Kimberly Williams, who jumped 14:47 on the fifth jump. So
I think we will see Ulamar make 16. I don't remember who it was that said it, but I think she has to go to the men's runway to. I'd at least like to see her on the men's runway, because seeing how close she is to the pit on her second step, it's almost like she's going for it, but you can also see the tentativeness of let me not kill myself out here. So I mean, she's just incredible to watch, honestly.
Then in the men's high jump, Gianmarco, your co-Olympic champion, he won jumping to 34. Andrew Protensinko, he closed his season best of 2:30, and Ian Yuk jumped 2:30 to get third. But Gianmarco is just cashing in this year. He Olympic champ, Diamond League champ. Ooh, almost dropped my phone. Caught it though, guys. Rojas is slightly shorter than me.
Okay, let's get into the hottest girl in track and field. I cannot. Y'all need to stop encouraging the foolishness, okay?
I just seem a little bit taller, but we're probably around the same height. It's just my hair gives me a little bit extra volume up top.
All right, we're going to get into these sprints. The men's 100 meters, which Kori affectionately named the hottest girl in track and field, Fred Curley. I mean, Fred is out here running the 100 like he is the 100 meters, okay? He held his drive phase. He, got out on them boys, and they just couldn't. DeGrasse looked like he was about to, but it wasn't good enough. Curley for the win in 9:87, DeGrasse in 9:89. Baker had a good race as well, 9:91. Bermel 9:96, and my boy Mike Rogers was in there for 10:23. But Fred Curley, man. I did say I would take Fred out on a date, but he didn't pull it off. So no date for Fred. Fred is that dude. Yeah.
Fred is that girl. I'm trying to tell you. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And here's the thing is, Fred, Natasha's still gonna get you some lobster and some crab legs,
Got no lobster budget.
But you don't budget with a bad.
you budget when you got daycare due every Monday.
Look here.
All right, keep it moving. Next event.
Fred deserves the finest things in life, and I want him to have it all. From deep down in my heart. Elaine, 10:65, broke the meet record that meet record was 37 years old, set by Evelyn Ashford. Gosh darn, she said deuces. I'm out. Y'all can enjoy this view. See how much I've been squatting, because you can just look at me from the back. But y'all already knew what was going to happen. I was a little, I don't want to say I was disappointed because it was an amazing race. I just wanted to see her and Shelly go head to head. After Shelly, pulled off that win, I was like, ooh, it's going to get a little interesting. I thought she was resting up and coming back to the final. But you know what? It's okay because
I think Shelly was also like, but who told y'all I was coming to Zurich? Because me never tell on no. So I don't know. I was hoping to see her there too, but no Shelly. But Elaine still gave us 1065. Dina Asher Smith came through with the season's best 1087. Aja Del Ponte 1093. Jay Oliver was in there with 1102, and Talu 1122.
I wasn't sure, because I had to lose way more, but maybe she's tired because she's been running really fast.
Yeah, I think they're all even in Elaine's 1065. You could see the fatigue in them out there. That it's the end of the season. I'm just out here trying to. I saw it.
You got tired?
I saw it.
Gosh, all right.
Yes, Daryl Nita came through and ran 1093 as well. She did. I think she was out in lane 1 too, right? Yeah.
And I say this every time, but I really am obsessed with Dina Asher's pony. It was a half up, half down, and it was this cover girl. Put the bass in your walk. The men's steeplechase, Benjamin Keegan of Kenya ran 8:17:45. Bakali of Morocco, he was an Olympic champion. He got second. And I was actually and he ran 8:17:70. I was actually surprised he did this well because he looked like he went down bad in Paris. He hit the first barrier and was on the ground for a while. So I'm happy that he is safe and back to running well. And then Natasha is texting me saying we are over time. So let's just push through to these last 3 events, but we won't go into them in great detail because we did cover all of these events in our live yesterday. So if you want to get our live reactions, you can watch that with my pro because I think the live is up on their page. But Keely Hodgkins, she won the 800, which I thought was going to happen. Gould had beat her in their previous matchup, but I just felt it was more because not because Keely was didn't have the fitness. I just felt she was making bad decisions in that last race, and this race she just looked she ran a lot smarter. And Kate Grace she's been running well all season and was able to outlean Gould and catch her at the end. The men's 800. You want to talk about this?
Go ahead. You got it.
Career ran 144.56. Rotage ran 144.96. And Clayton Murphy, I just feel he hasn't looked like himself, and he looked the best he's looked, I feel all season. Or maybe not all season, but the last he's looking up in the past few Diamond Leagues was here when he ran 145.21 to get third. And I was surprised Marco Rupp didn't do better because he's just been running some really, really good races since not making the final. But he got fourth with 145.23. The women's 400 hurdles, Femke Bowl won with 52.80. That was a meet record. Shamir was in lane 3. I was a little nervous for her because that's a tight turn, but I thought that she was going to be able to, go off of Femke because she was in lane 3. Femke was in lane 4. And she and Femke were basically going stride for stride until they got to the last 100 meters, and Femke just kind of pulled away from her. And since y'all think I don't, give Warholm his praise, even though we were I am quite amazed. My flabber has been gasted when he, won that ran that world record. He won with 47.35. DeSantos ran 47.81. I thought DeSantos was going to get DQ'd because he definitely flinched at the line, if you saw that. But it was actually Capello got DQ'd right after him.
Right.
Start. So I'm like,
I think sometimes the starters be wanting to see their own races too. Like the starter probably was like, I ain't throwing DeSantos out, but Capello, you can go.
Hey. And then Kyron McMaster went 48.24. I feel like the way that these guys are running, that's kind of how I expected the race to go. Warholm just looked like he was like, I'm just here to like collect my check. I ain't doing nothing crazy. I'm just gonna do just enough to win and get on out of here. I do think Shamir would benefit from doing short hurdle. I think all long hurdlers would benefit from doing short hurdle work because, as me and Anna were talking about, it just makes you way more comfortable with navigating the barriers. And it also just helps you, the technique is different. So you don't want to hurdle like you're a 100 hurdler, but it does make you just way more comfortable, especially at the speeds that we are going at these days. You have to be able to navigate a barrier very quickly. And then do you want to talk about the men's 200, and then we'll be done with our review, guys.
We got two more events, the women's and the men's 200. So it was a close one. I was pulling for Sharika. I don't know why, but Mbama came through from Namibia, Christina Mbama, who just every time she runs, she's setting an area under 20 record. She's only 18, y'all. So I am excited, nervous, all the things to see where this is going, where sprinting is going, where track and field is going. Track is just getting faster and faster, but 21.78 for the win. She hasn't quite figured out how to run that turn yet, but that finish is just, she's just insane.
But when she figures out her start, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be disgusting. And because you have to remember, she's coming from the 400, so the start wasn't as crucial. But
yeah. So Sharika Jackson was second in 21.81. Dina Asher Smith 22.19. She actually had the best curve. She got out really, really well. And maybe missing out on some training and kind of competing, I guess, in the middle of the season. Maybe that's where we see the difference in her finish, because Dina's actually the reigning 200 world champion, I believe. And then Kambuji was fourth. The fifth threw me off. Fourth in 22.27, who also got fifth earlier in the 100. And Des Bryant was seventh in 22.99. And then the men,
arms too wide, but they be working. It works.
The men's 200, which I feel like going into the 200, we were talking mostly about Fred and DeGrasse, and somehow overlooked the fact that Kenny Benerick was in there. And how dare we? Because 1970 for the win, Andre DeGrasse 1970 in second, Fred Curley 1983. Noah Lyles' little brother Josephus, or is it his older brother? I think Josephus is actually older than him, was fifth in 2013. We didn't see Noah. I'm guessing because Noah is the reigning world champion, so he was like, y'all have at it. I will be there regardless. And Vernon Norwood stepped down from the 400 and came in seventh with 2046. So that
I'm telling you, if you 100 and come back and run 200, because we were talking about how Fred looked a little tired at the end of the race after running that 100, but I'm like, I know Vernon was tired after running that 400.
Yeah. Fred did look a little bit.
Do we know how many sub 20 200 that makes for Kenny? Because I'm like,
a lot, the most ever in one season. Yeah.
Him him and Mike Cherry said consistency is key. But yeah,
Kung Fu would have won the Olympics if he had his headband on. I didn't even notice that he didn't have on his headband. I guess that must have been, it must not have fit the team regulations. So
yeah.
Team issue.
Well,
yeah.
That was Zurich. I feel like we might have skipped over some events, but we were trying to keep this to under an hour.
Which did not happen.
There was 1,000 things to talk about today. But the Diamond League is over. The track season is technically over, but that does not mean Track Girl Summer is over, you guys. We will be back every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Times to be determined, but I think for next week, we will be doing next week and the week after. We're going to be doing 1 p.m. Eastern. Don't quote me. Don't do that, guys.
As of right now, we're scheduled for 1 p.m. Eastern. If something changes, we will let y'all know. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we have our guests lined up for Monday. You want to tell them?
You can tell them. You booked her. This is...
Oh, that's how we're doing it. Okay, well, Monday we will be joined by my fellow Gamecock diva, also Team USA women's relay coach, also an Olympian herself, Michelle Freeman. So Monday is scheduled to be a great show, along with the rest of the week and what we will be covering, who we'll be talking to. We're working on a couple others, and we'll keep you posted as they are booked. We did have Parchi booked for Wednesday, but he had to reschedule. He is confirmed for another day, but as we get closer to the date, we'll let you know.
Yes. And yeah, so for the rest of, until track gets back popping. Also, I forgot to, and I forgot to put this in the notes, and now I'm like, do I have it? But Kori, why are you like this?
While Kori figures it out, don't forget to shop Track Girl Summer. If you've already ordered, your merch is on the way, or I've checked some of the tracking, you all should have your merch. TrackGirlSummer.com for all the merch, all the things. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Come back and watch the replay. You ready, Kori? Keep talking. Okay.
I forgot the World Challenge combined events happened. And Kendall Williams won, and so did Kai Kazmierek. So she won. Kendall from the US won the heptathlon, and Kai from Germany won the decathlon, and they also get buys into Worlds next year. We didn't cover that, but I wanted to shout that out because that is really dope. And we love a multi-eventer. And yeah, so make sure you guys comment so we can see who else you guys want us to interview. We'll basically be doing mainly interviews moving forward. So if you have a special request, we are going to be working really hard to, getting the athletes you guys want to see. And now that you guys know that Michelle's coming,
think about your questions.
And yeah, that's about it, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up because we're over time, like always. But thank you guys for joining us today. Make sure you follow me at the Kori Monster. Follow Natasha at Natasha Hastings. Natasha already told you to go to our website, shop our merch, follow us, subscribe. Thanks you guys for tuning in on your lunch break. Don't get fired over us, but if you do, we're worth it. We'll be back.
We ain't got no money to pay you though.
We're very poor because y'all only people who haven't shopping our merch. Thank you. Some more of you guys could. Same time this time, same place, and remember. Together, guys, I want to hear you guys say it. No matter what time of the year it is. It's always Track Girl Summer, baby. So, thanks, guys.
Bye.